Right now on Real Estate Divas, how to automate your Airbnb business to make you more money. Right after this.
Hey there, you guys. Welcome back to Real Estate Divas. Today we're going to be talking about automating your Airbnb. And this is getting really nitty gritty, showing some details. I'm Jer'Leigh Thompson with Kwikset Real Estate and Real Estate Reformation.
And I'm Kristin Gerst with Capricorn Mortgage Investments.
And so automating your Airbnb, one of the first things that you need to automate is the calendar. How did you pick that? Because aren't there a ton of platforms out there?
There are, but you have to pay for those. People don't know that you can actually link your calendar for free. So all of those listing sites like Airbnb, VRBO, TripAdvisor, Booking.com, you can export those calendars into every other platform and the others so that as soon as you get a reservation in one, it blocks it in all the others.
Huh.
And people are like, oh, well, I'm only on one platform because I don't want to have to
Overbooking
and
overseeing all of that.
And as soon as I get a booking, what if somebody books in the middle of the night? And then, 8 hours later, I don't notice it. And then I've got to get over here and I've got to block all of those. No, it automatically does it for you if you set it up.
Nice.
And how easy is that? It's very. Paul, you want to show our first slide?
Well, that's interesting because I thought the same thing. I mean, I thought that it was a little bit more manual of keeping track. So that's interesting.
Really not. And once you link your Airbnb to your VRBO, then you can just go and look at one calendar. Because it'll say, oh, here's this one's booked on Airbnb. VRBO is typically a little more specific. Because it'll show it'll show, oh, it's checking in this. So it'll actually show the half days, but it'll show which site it's booked on. So you'll know, oh, okay, so this one is not on VRBO this weekend. This is actually on Airbnb. Let me go to that, or let me go to the other one. So let's show how easy it is to book these things, to link these together. Can you go to the second slide, please? So under the calendar part, so if you see this is on Airbnb, and you're managing your space, right? And it says sync calendars. And so this is the one that I called Paris, right?
Yep.
So I nicknamed this condo Paris, and I imported the calendar VRBO Paris, and I imported the calendar TripAdvisor. And then to each of those, I exported the calendar
to those sites. Nice.
And you just go to each of the page and it goes copy and paste link into other iCal. I mean, it's a no-brainer on how you do it. So you just copy that when you export it and you
that is
go paste
awesome.
it in. And people don't know that this is here.
Well, I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations about Airbnbs and they're like, oh no, I only list because of such and such. Whether I'm talking to somebody at the Airbnb I'm staying at or somebody, a potential client or whatever, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
All of them provide that. And
that right there makes it worth watching this show right here. Okay?
And that is free.
Yeah, free.
It just comes with comes with all of your listings. So feel free to go and list on as many platforms. And by the way, I showed the 4 biggest ones.
Yeah.
There
are a ton.
A couple dozen.
Yep.
I'm also on Mr. B&B. I get stuff from that.
Yep.
Which is the gay friendly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I wasn't even aware of that one.
Mr. B&B, I know.
B&B.
So if you've got an Airbnb that's in a
gay part of town,
yeah, gay neighborhood, definitely want to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so if you're so now you've got your free linked up calendar. You're watching all of your properties,
and this prevents double bookings.
Yeah.
Now I have had a double booking one time. And I went back and looked at the timestamp. They booked at the exact same time.
And so you noticed that, what, the next day? I mean, did you notice pretty quickly?
It took a couple days. Because I was like, wait a minute.
What's going on here?
What's going on here? Why are these? I also have a virtual assistant who takes all of my reservations and puts them into a spreadsheet.
Gotcha.
And she was like, hey, these have overlapping dates. What is this? And I'm like, well, that's impossible. And I went and looked and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a double fail safe on that. And I ended up, yeah, I had to cancel one of those reservations. I had to call in and tell them, hey, I'm sorry, this was double booked.
Yep. Well, but that's rare. That's one time.
It was also, 2 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
So I did give them
So it's
plenty.
not like they showed up at the door and you're like, oh, sorry.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So then linking, it prevents the double bookings. One glance for both.
Yeah, can you show slide 3, please? So when we look at, so this gives you both calendars.
Nice.
Which one is which? On the left, that is the calendar for VRBO. This is an actual, obviously this is an actual one I have. This is for next month. This is for January, mostly. VRBO is on the left. It shows you all the days booked. And then Airbnb, one of my Airbnb accounts is on the right.
Gotcha. And so let me ask you this, for anybody that's looking at this, the green versus the one on the left. So that one's the VRBO, correct?
Correct.
I figured the font
So
was the same.
So right.
So the green versus the purple shading, is there a difference there?
Yeah, which one is booked on? So the purple shading on, if we're looking at the VRBO calendar on the left, the purple shading is going to be everything from Airbnb.
Gotcha.
Or another, obviously, or
another site.
Or another site, either booking.com or TripAdvisor. I only showed 2 of the calendars here.
Okay.
So like if I match this up, we can see that January 1st through the 5th, if I look on the right, well, that's Airbnb.
Yeah.
Well, but then the weekend of the 7th through the 9th, the 13th through the 16th, those are actually direct bookings. So people who have directly booked through my website.
Got it.
So those are blocked. And then the green on the left, well, those are VRBO. So, I mean, amazing.
So that really tells you, you're looking at these calendars and you know exactly where they're coming from. And then you also have your website, which I think is key for some people out there that don't realize that they can book directly through you, especially.
It takes a while to get that up. So, like, I've had this property going now for just shy of 2 years. But now you can see that I'm avoiding fees.
Yeah.
But it's taken a while to be able to do this.
Well, and that's repeat customers, that's people being able to recommend you, that's them going, no, if you want this one, go directly to her. Now, do you offer them, this is a little sidebar because this isn't on our notes, but do you offer them a discount for something like that?
Oh,
if they come directly to you.
They're getting a huge discount if they book directly through me. Now, I'm getting the same price.
Okay.
I'm collecting the same amount of money.
So you don't try to get part of that back.
They're saving probably 10 to 15%.
Nice. So
I don't know. I don't know.
Incentive there for
huge.
your clients, your guests to go ahead and come to you directly, which I think is key because I know a lot of people who have their website and have all of their properties listed on their website, and you come to them and there is no discount, or it's the same price, but they are actually making more money because they're not paying out that fee.
Right.
So you're not really giving them an incentive to come directly to you.
So you are correct.
Yep.
I'm making an additional 3%.
Okay.
Which is, hey, it's 3%.
It's 3%.
Right? So
Yeah.
I'm saving on my commission. But they are saving, the guests are saving a ton,
Yep.
which is only going to add to their enjoyment of your property. So if they're getting to save on all of, the Airbnb, VRBO, whoever, guest fees,
Yep.
they're going to like it.
That is very cool. So as far as any other platforms that you have,
So pay for platforms.
yes.
So my direct bookings come through my pay for platforms. Now I pay $20 a month per listing.
Okay.
I have that because I need something that is automated, right? So it comes with, in effect, a CRM. It comes with a workflow model. It has, I can talk to every single guest through every single platform from one place.
Nice.
It's huge. If you're dealing with one or two properties,
It's not that big a deal.
You don't need this.
Yeah.
When you get up and you're talking 10, 20 properties, you need this.
Well, because you're having, I know I don't typically hit up my Airbnb hosts all that often, right? But every once in a while there are questions. It is there are things that aren't quite clear, or I need a little more information. And so sending those messages, there are people that get back to you immediately, and then there's some, it may take them 3 days longer.
Well, and the nice thing with this is, so I ended up getting, I hired this VA in the Philippines because I wanted to offer 24/7 customer service. And while I'm sleeping, she's awake and she's answering this. So I gave her access to my Airbnb account, right? Here's my login, here's my password. You log in as me, cool, you're answering
Yep.
it. Oh yeah, Airbnb doesn't like that. But they didn't tell me that they didn't like it. They just completely shut down my account. Now they didn't cancel any reservations.
What?
Yes.
What in
So
the
all of a
world?
sudden, I'm not getting any new reservations, which with the amount of properties I have, I get reservations every day.
Yeah.
So like 2 or 3 days went by.
You're
and I
like,
go,
what the heck's going on here?
why am I not getting any reservations? Oh yeah, completely shut down. Like all of my, and I went in and I'm like, oh my God, none of my properties, you can't see any of them. I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
I never got an answer. Nobody ever told me that was the reason. I wrote about 20 please forgive me emails.
I think
and
I remember
letters.
when you were writing those letters. Please forgive me. I'm sorry.
I did not know that this was the wrong thing because
Yeah.
I figured that had to be what it was. It was
Yeah.
the only thing. But regular customer service didn't know about it. So this is the kind of stuff you deal with Airbnb. So if you want to have somebody like this, you have to make him a co-host, which I didn't really want to do. And so this way she has access to
everything.
But it's through a hosting platform that's different. So, and that's why I did it, just because I'm like, I don't want to log into all these different apps and give her
that's
access to all of
these
it.
different apps. Yeah.
Whereas
that's
I can-
giving away a lot. I mean, I trust my VA immensely, but it is giving away quite a bit, of information. I mean, my VA has a ton of information, and I trust her. Apple, I love you. But it is a lot of information, especially
Right.
if you're getting started and the revenue's coming in, and this is in charge of that revenue coming in. So which one I know there's several out there.
There are so many. I use Smart B&B, which is now called Hospitable. I'm going to say that like that. It's on my app. If you go and look up, there are just so many of these things out there. I was using one, and I can't remember what it was called. This was like 6 months, 9 months ago, and it was cumbersome.
Yeah.
And I couldn't email or I couldn't message with VRBO. Smart B&B or Hospitable, it's just changed its name, is now, it's compatible with Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com. I think they just got TripAdvisor. I hope so, because that's kind of been a pain not being able to do that one. But again, most of my things are Airbnb or VRBO, and then they do direct bookings.
Nice.
So here's my web address for it, and they will automatically create a page for you.
So why did you choose that one? Because I know there's AirDNA, which is an Airbnb product, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
To be honest, I'm not sure about that, but they only give DNA info on Airbnb properties.
Okay, gotcha.
So they rank in a city. right? And I'm very proud because I have 2 of the top 5.
Nice.
I'm usually number 1 and then number 3, somewhere 2 to 3.
Hey.
I know. Hey, I'm very
She's
proud
in the top 5.
2 of the top 5.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I have one property that is only on VRBO since a little over a year and a half ago. It is all this year has only been there, and it outperforms both of those.
Wow.
Its gross is about 40 grand more
Wow.
than those 2 that are in the top 5. But it would never show up on AirDNA because it's not an Airbnb. So it's only on VRBO. Again, for everybody out there going, oh, we have to be on an Airbnb, we would never survive. No, you will, depending on
will. Yeah.
If you've got a higher
if you have higher end, a lot more of amenities, I would say, we discussed this before, is VRBO tends to cater to that a little bit more. Is I feel
nicer
like
properties.
Yeah, they're nicer
Higher
properties,
clientele.
more resort-ish type of properties.
Right.
I know that if I'm going to someplace like a ski city, or I'm going to Tahoe or something, I'm going to check out VRBO first.
VRBO is my first call too.
Yeah.
VRBO is my first call for, when I'm traveling,
Yep.
VRBO is a lot of time my first call.
Because I feel like, I don't know if do they have restrictions on what you can list?
No.
Because I just feel like they
They don't.
they don't I don't usually see the ones that are more economy on there. I don't know if it's that I'm not searching them or that I just eliminate that, but I don't see as many of those.
VRBO also protects their hosts, which
That's
I like.
what I've understood, is that they protect their hosts more. They don't immediately jump and react every time there is a guest complaint, because believe it or not, I know it's shocking, but sometimes the guest is not correct. Sometimes the customer is wrong. You experienced that.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show. I think we did a little bit on that.
Oh gosh, we could do a whole Airbnb horror show. I mean, I've had some just
Doozies.
horrific people, but I like to just call them. We've switched. So when quarantine hit, all of a sudden we got a very interesting group of what I would call con people.
Yep.
Like and mostly con women. It was
That is
mostly
crazy to me.
women who were doing this, but I was being blackmailed.
Yeah, that is so crazy to
And
me.
that was back when, for about 6 months, I really cared. I mean, I was
You were upset.
I was upset. And
Yeah.
I was so upset, and I was trying to do the right thing. And I'm
and
like,
you felt held hostage, which is basically what they do, what they try to, I mean,
they do.
yeah.
But I don't, for everybody looking out there going, oh my gosh, I have to have complete 5-star reviews. You don't. You can have
those 1 or 2, because guess what? People look at them and they realize it's the 1 or 2. It's the bad eggs.
And then if you get one that's real bad and you don't think you're going to recover from it, or if you have to start explaining that one to a lot of people inquiring about it, which by the way, they're still going to book. I know they will. They'll still book.
Yeah.
Just snooze that
Yeah.
listing. Start a brand new listing.
Hey, there's a tip of the day. Just snooze it, start a brand new one.
You just kind of
Yeah.
shut that one down. They even have Airbnb and VRBO both will let you just completely copy all the data. You just copy every
Move it
description.
over here, that one goes away.
Yeah, you keep your reservations.
Yeah.
It links to it, so you're not double booking or anything. Your calendar's all synced
Nice.
up. I have that. I mean, I have that where
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, well, that was a doozy. I'm like,
Well, and
done.
especially, I mean, it's one thing when it's helpful and it's useful information to know that there was a bad review, but when there's something in there that is totally bogus and it's somebody that is strictly in for the scam, I
have
mean,
somebody who I don't think she's in it for the scam, but I think she's kind of crazy and an unhappy person. She's been texting me. She stayed with me at the end of
okay,
July.
not stayed with her personally.
No, but she stayed in one of my units. By the way, this thing that gets mostly 5 stars
Yeah.
across the board, everybody raves about this place. This woman I'm going to call her Karen because she's total Karen.
Yeah.
She shows up for some tennis tournament with like 6 other of her girlfriends. They're all fine. They're happy. She makes my assistant go over there 4 times because there's no hot water. We have a tankless water heater there.
Yeah.
Everybody's showering going, no, we have tons of hot water. So she's like looking for somebody to, I know. This woman texted me 3 days ago, and it was like this terrible text. Like, you are complete trash, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
What the heck? This was July? Like, get a life. That's crazy.
I'm like,
crazy.
and then I didn't.
Then you're like, crazy.
I didn't respond to it, but I'm looking at it going,
crazy.
So, like, about every 4 to 6 weeks, she sends me. And at first you think, okay, well, she's had a few too many drinks, and for whatever reason, I'm her nemesis.
Yeah.
Which
either that, or it's like you just went back to 3rd grade and she's pulling your pigtails because she's got a crush.
So I never actually met this woman.
Yeah.
When she stayed, I was in the Bahamas, in the Exumas, and there was no cell phone coverage. So I couldn't actually talk to her on the phone, which she thought I was just dodging her, which I think is why she's taken offense. But I'm like, no.
But it was July.
It was July.
Come on.
Literally 3 days ago. And if you read this thing, you'd be like,
what? I'm reading it after the show. We're doing that. So going back to, okay, the automatic, we've got the platforms for syncing everything, seeing everything,
right?
And
you have to, and you do have to pay for those. So I mean, right now, I'm paying like, I'll be paying $300 a month here.
Yeah.
So
but that's on several properties.
That's for several properties.
Per property?
It's
then?
per property.
Okay, that's what I figured.
And all of them have different pricing strategies. But you know, the one I use is like $20 a property. I had been doing $25. Sometimes they pay per site that you're listed on. Again, there's a lot of things that go into it.
And then, as far as automated pricing, what do you do? What is this?
So it's called dynamic pricing. I started this 4 or 5 months ago because I was constantly going in and playing with my prices. Mm-hmm. So what dynamic pricing does is, and this costs money too, you don't have to do this. You can stay full without. But when you want to take it to the next level, and especially if you have, like I had a couple of properties that I felt were underperforming. And maybe this would help. Oh, it helped. It was shocking how much it helped.
Wow.
So I believe it is worth the cost of it. But basically, you go in and you set what your lowest is. And if you know your daily hold, right, how much everything's costing you can go, all right, this is the lowest I will take for it. This is what I want my weekend pricing, my lowest for my weekend to be. And then it'll take all of your reservation data from Airbnb and VRBO, and it'll go, okay, based on all the other properties in the area that are comparable, they're all 5-bedroom, same thing, this is the median price. And so then you go, all right, do I accept that? Yeah, I'll accept that. And so you accept that median price. You can also set your own. You can do a manual. I listen to the computer.
Yeah.
And then
that's the one that did the algorithm that came up with, they've got all the information.
Then a couple times a day, it goes out for all your available days and sees how much everybody else is searching for those days. How much, and readjusts those prices.
Nice.
It automatically, so I have it set where it will automatically, within 10 days, it will automatically do a discount.
Nice.
So I'm like, okay, do an extra 20%.
Well, because the goal is to stay full. The goal is to book it. The more it's empty, then it's better to have a little money than no money at all. You just don't want it to cost you, like obviously you have your holding cost. You don't want it to cost you more to book it out and have it cleaned and all of this than it would to just leave it empty.
Well, and just like those calendars we looked at for next month, right? So I just screenshotted whatever was coming up because you can see all the color. Once the month happened, like once the booking happens, it all goes gray.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, we'll just go to January. But that next month, I'm excited. That's
a pretty decent.
It's not
month
booked like
for January.
6 or 7 nights.
Yeah.
It's not booked. That's like the highest booked month that property's ever had.
That's awesome. That is fantastic.
And I even have the data from the 2 years before I took over managing it, and it's never had a January like that.
That is awesome.
It is very awesome. So it's good news for Airbnb.
And then you're like, yeah, that's me. That's right. I did that.
Well, I love to, we've talked about this a lot. I'm like, this is intuitive.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. It can't be me doing this. I don't know. I think it also has to do with the market, and Airbnbs are just going to be more desirable
Absolutely.
in 2022.
So the smart locks, I know that we mentioned those in an episode before, and you have a specific one that you like, but let's talk about that a little bit.
So this is the one I like.
Yes, August is the one that she likes.
August is the one that I like. I like it. You can see, the door. You can see exactly what happened.
Well, and let's just go back, because on a previous, and by all means, watch this whole series, but on a previous one, we talked about the reason she likes August is because she can add as many doors to this one as she wants.
Right. And if you're looking at the others, you can't do that.
Yep.
So again, find out what the maximum is. August, it'll just keep going down and letting you add them. This is basically what it looks like. So I have like Dallas.
You can see the activity.
Activity on who opens it. Look, door open, door closed, door open. I don't know why they did that so many times, but
so
whatever.
It tells you the guests that are there, who's opening and shutting. Mm-hmm. And then I would imagine if it's your cleaning company, then.
Right, they have their own.
They have their own entering.
Well, and so when you're looking at the actual app, it says keychain, which is kind of cute. So you click on keychain, you click on the property you're going to, and in your phone, you go, all right, there's this big red circle, which means the door is locked. Mm-hmm. You tap it, and it turns green, and then the door is unlocked. So I even have it on my own personal house. It's just one of the properties there. So that's a huge one for smart locks. As far as all the others, as long as people have a smart lock, I would say yes. I think they're going to find that, at least in my experience, Schlage and Kwikset, the push button ones, mm-hmm. those batteries start to fail. And once they corrode, you're replacing that entire lock.
Yeah, you don't want that. Because they're not exactly cheap.
Oh, no. I mean, are they expensive as August? No, they are not. I mean, that whole system, we've already said, $400.
It's not a cheap system, but it's a system that'll last a long time.
I've had mine for over 4 years.
Yeah, it'll last a long time. You can keep track of you can keep adding to it, multiple properties, and then you don't have that replacement as often.
And I researched this.
Yeah.
I mean, thoroughly before I started Airbnbs. And that was what I came to. I'm like, okay, because I can have multiple. But when I've had Schlage and Kwikset on my maids' mm-hmm. closets, they're all failing after a couple of years. And inevitably, then I'm getting a call that my maid staff is locked out. All right, well, fine. I get my assistant over there, but they've already left, and then we're trying to get somebody.
Reschedule, but if you have a booking right after that.
We had a booking right after that, so then it's like getting an emergency clean.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole.
Like, save yourself a headache. If you have multiple, it's different if you have one and you have a little bit more time.
And you're local.
Yeah, and you can oversee it. But if you're planning on scaling, start with the right tools.
And even if you think there's a chance you might scale, start with the right tools. I guarantee if you make everything super easy for yourself on the first one and you're profiting all this money,
you're going to get another.
You're going to go get another and another and another. So you might as well have all these systems in place.
So I know you mentioned Schlage and Kwikset. Now Nest, you don't like that one as much either, because that one, wasn't it, you can't add as many? I know with the thermostat you can only have so many, but with the locks,
same thing. Yeah. So, and again, they have the Nest doorbell and all of that.
Yep.
Again, once you have an August system and you see how great it is and how superior it is.
If August wants to go ahead and sponsor us, that would be fantabulous.
They should.
I think that would be great. We'll sit here and promote August all day.
And their customer service is amazing.
There you go.
It's like a private company. I mean, you call them up and They're like, oh yeah, let me talk you through that. Like, let's say you have to reboot something. They're like, okay, yeah, we can reboot that for you over the phone. It's just a superior system.
So, making the cleaning company, our next line
Kwikset
item.
Rekey. We got to talk about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you used this?
I have not.
You can rekey any Kwikset Rekey smart key in about a minute.
Yes.
So if you're constantly in a landlord and you're changing keys all the time, you can just stick this little tool in, you kind of rotate it 90 degrees, pull it out, put your new key in, rotate it another 180 degrees, and boom, it's all rekeyed.
Nice.
With any key that you want. You have that drawer full of like old keys and stuff that don't work anything. You can pull one of those out and go rekey something with it.
Get the heck out.
I don't.
So really and truly, I could use this on all my rentals.
Yes. So all of my Airbnb properties, all the exterior doors have the exact same lock. And I do it with the Kwikset smart key. And it's a regular deadbolt. Yep. Looks like a regular deadbolt. So it's not like anything different. It just has this little hole right next to the key slot. And then all of my maid's closets have the same key. So the owner of a cleaning company has a master set of keys that works every single one of my Airbnb properties.
Nice.
All my owners have a set of keys. I have a set of keys. My handymen have a set of keys.
In addition to the August, you have the Kwikset Rekey system.
I do not give out a hard set of keys.
To any guest.
No, definitely not to guests. But most people don't get them. The owner of a cleaning company gets them as a backup. Like, let's say that myself or my assistant can't get there to open up and unlock things for the cleaning crew. My assistant has them. My major handyman has them. I have them with a friend of mine just in case I'm out of town.
Hey, there you go.
But I have multiple sets at home just in case something happens, let's say, and somebody's locked out and nothing's working, right? I can have one of my sons run down with the master set of keys and unlock anything. It's always a backup. But using Kwikset Rekey or Smart Key, whatever it's called, really, really does save time, because if all of your deadbolts are like that, you can change locks like that.
Yeah. How many times I've actually manually changed, not me personally, but hired somebody to go and change the lock because
I do it myself.
Yeah.
Like
now that I know about Kwikset, then I'll do that myself too.
Kwikset, you are allowed to sponsor us as well. Please consider it.
We'll put that in our show notes when we're talking about rentals now.
We need to start doing
I'll do a little
commercial.
Yeah,
we're gonna do a TikTok commercial for Kwikset. In fact, I'll go rekey something.
Yeah,
you want to rekey something?
What do we need to do here? We can do something right here in the studio. Okay, well then now moving on to the cleaning company. The cleaning company, you set them up as a co-host?
You can, yeah.
So on Airbnb, VRBO,
you have to give your login and password, but VRBO doesn't really care. Like what I found out, Airbnb does care when you do that. So you set your cleaning company as a co-host. Now with Hospitable or Smart B&B, I can just invite them and they can have access to my complete calendar. I then also have emails that notify them anytime there's a new reservation, and it goes automatically onto their cleaning calendar.
Love that.
Yeah. So
that is, because imagine, for y'all that don't do this, imagine the amount of time saved just from, hey, we got another booking. Hey, so-and-so's coming in.
I don't ever talk to the cleaning company.
Love that.
I mean, we've got a Slack channel, right? And,
you're
out of paper towels, right? I mean, I even have a Google sheet for that. I'm like, hey, just send it to Google. But yeah, making them at the very basics, when you're getting started and just automating, make your cleaning company a co-host. And that way they have access to the calendar and they can just go in there and go, oh, look at so-and-so's calendars.
Yeah, well, and if it automatically links to their calendar, if you're using a professional, it automatically links to their calendar. They already know.
Right.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Right. So, and I mean, if you're going to pay for a platform, make sure it has that ability to send out, structured emails every time. I mean, the one thing I love about that hospitable platform, anytime there's a new reservation, I get a text and it says how many nights they're staying, the dates, and then how much money. But I don't just send that to me. I also send it to the clients I manage for, because they get all
that way
they get all excited. They're like,
Yay.
oh, look, I'm making money, right?
Yeah.
So it's super fun. But then they also send out texts to my assistant going, all right, we've got check-ins today at these properties, so you need to make sure that those are prepared. And my assistant loves it because he's just like, no, it's great.
It's easy.
It's easy.
It's easy.
Like the next day,
the automation. You want to automate as much as possible.
And it comes in at 5 a.m. And so we always know what's going on. First thing, I wake up in the morning, I look at my phone, I'm like, look at this.
Awesome.
I got these check-ins, I got these checkouts. I know what's going on.
Fantastic. And then the last thing on our list of how to automate your Airbnb would be the thermostat.
Right, which is important. And people often overlook this one because they don't realize that. And yeah, you can see this is this is kind of some old screenshots that I did. Now I have lots more.
Yep. Yeah, well, now you've sold a couple of those.
Yeah, you're selling London.
Yeah,
London closes Monday.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, this is back when I used to name these things, but you can literally fill up the entire screen and then scan down to see them. I've got houses that have 3 thermostats on them. So you go to locations first, you click on it, and then it shows you all the thermostats. I mean, technically, what is there room for on that screen? 5?
Yep.
I mean, you just keep filling up thermostats.
So whenever you're doing, because I love that Honeywell allows you to add as many houses
And
as
you cannot do that with all the other
Nest
sites.
or anything else.
Can't.
So Honeywell allows you to add as many
locations
as you want. But what do you usually, if nobody's in there, what do you usually keep it on?
75.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that winter and summer?
Yeah, typally. I mean, you don't want
we're
it
in Texas,
You
so
don't
our
want it to
winter
get
is
hot.
not winter.
You don't want it to get too hot.
Yeah.
But in winter, no, I'll keep it cold. I'll
Yep.
go down to 65 in the winter.
Yep.
Which again, is typically you're not doing anything. I try to keep my places as full as possible, so they're typically almost always on a permanent hold. And I will just go, all right, 70 degrees. Once they go to long-term stays, then I don't look at them. I let them set them wherever they're at. Obviously, people can mess around with these, so.
It's just, what do you want them walking into? You never want anybody walking into a sauna or walking in, it's cold outside and it's freezing inside your property. So, I mean, I think that thermostats is something that gets overlooked.
Right, and having that ability to do that is huge.
Yeah.
So, and I've given my assistant, he takes care of that for me now. I mean, I'm
Which
like,
is even more automation because now it's out of our hands.
It's out of our hands. I'm like, here's the login and the password for the Honeywell account. I'm like, what are you going to do with those, right?
Yeah.
Please make sure that these are all at optimal.
Yeah.
And he's great about it, right? So, and he's really, there are some, I got to be honest, there's some properties I haven't been to in 6 months.
Yeah.
But I have my, eyes on the ground who are there 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, I mean, between the cleaning ladies or your assistant or anybody that has to do maintenance. I'm going to
hear if something is wrong.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Well, I mean, right there is 8 different things you can do to your Airbnbs to automate the process. Take those things off your plate. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to scale, make money, but not add 24 more hours of work to your week.
No.
You're trying to alleviate as much as possible, and all of those are amazing.
Well, and I think we all know that I have Capricorn Mortgage as well.
Yeah.
So
Most people, when they start out with Airbnb, you're doing it in conjunction with
your
what you actually do.
Right.
So keep that in mind. I mean, the more you can automate this, and I don't care if it costs $400 to put that lock in, if it saves you 40 hours, come on. You know, I mean, that's huge.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
In everything, I try to automate as much of this business as I possibly can. And definitely I have my VA do anything that I dread doing should be done by a VA.
Yeah, or an assistant or something. Delegate if you can. I still have things on my list I haven't delegated yet, but 2022 is a new year, people. But if y'all have any automation tips, if there's something that you're curious about and you would like to know more, or you have any automation tips, be sure to drop those comments. Let us know what's going on in y'all's world, your Airbnb experience, your VRBO experience. We'd love to hear about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're really trying to amp up our YouTube channel, so we'd really appreciate the support. I'm Jer'Leigh Thompson with Texel Real Estate and Real Estate Reformation.
And I'm Kristin Gerst with Capricorn Mortgage Investments.
Thanks for joining Real Estate Divas, you guys.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.